Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. And ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, 26th of March. We've got some new mods, we've got some updates, we've got a new map out today as well, which I'm going to get onto later on, called Feldberg by AE, I think it's mapping. Updates then, the Pons Scorpion King by HR Forst und Fahrzeugbau, the Lizard Next by Axary. That's in front of us. I'm going to show you that because it's actually had a couple of models added onto that one. The Case IH AFS Connect Steiger series by Carl Farms and Custom Modding. The Massive Ferguson 274S and Landini 6550 pack by Blauer. The Plant Protection Products pack by JMZ. And the map Neu Minibrunn by Topace 888. That says a new save game is not required. Those are the updates. Starting off then with the Lizard Next, which is an update by Axary, 67.41 megabytes download for the pack. Now, the first update for this added in an extra version. If we go into our vehicles and we go up to our trucks, so the standard Axary, Lizard Next by Axary was that one, the Next 44202. The first update gave us this, the 557SU. This update has given us this one, the 557AC. The difference being this one has got containers of very different sizes, and this will tip side to side, more like a grain container. Whereas this one that's been added today is more like a dump truck, dump trailer, which is rear tip. But this one we've got a 10,000 litre, we've got a 12,000 or a 16,000 litre. Engine setup, 312 horsepower, 600. That's standard across the board. We've got different wheel setups. The wheel setups and stuff are standard to the base game version, but the update has just given us this dump version in those three configurations. We've got main colour, design colour and license plate option. Now the next one that's been added in is actually not found with the trucks, but it's found under forestry machines. So if you are looking for it, just there we've got the Next 432060 UST 5453. Mouthful. The first one was 16 slots, this one's 14, both come down to 1. So this one is your timber option. Again, engine setup is the same, wheel setup, main colour, design colour are all the same. Actually, I say the same. Yeah, the same as the first updated version. So main colour is the cab, and then design colour is the rear section, whichever you'd rather go for. So those two have been added in. I thought it was worth showing because, you know, having a timber version and the fact the timber version wasn't with the main ones, you might think it's missing or, you know, but you'll find it under forestry. That's where it is. 2 tension straps on this one. And so this one is a dump trailer rear, whereas the grain one in the first update was rear or side to side. So this one is rear only, but more of a dump truck. I like these. I think they're very cool mods. I've always liked the Axary stuff. So there we go. That's the Lizard Next by Axary. So first of the mods for today then, we've got this. This is the Luxury House. This is by Dudeek112, 14.98 megabytes download, 22 slots, 85,000 to buy. You can't go into the building, unfortunately. Under build mode and under farmhouses is where you will find it. Just there, slot count comes down to 1. There's no colour choice on this, you get it just like that. Sleep trigger at the front, we've got a nice patio area around the back for entertaining guests. Fairly straightforward. The Luxury House by Dudeek112. Next to that we've got this. This is the Groundwater Pump by Ackerdesigner. 0.58 megabytes download, 11 slots, 5,000 to buy. Once purchased, the water is free. Under build mode and under tools is where you'll find this one. Just out in the end there, 5 grand. Slot count comes down to 1. Again, fairly straightforward. You'll see the trigger there, pull up alongside, and you can fill up your water. That's the Groundwater Pump by Ackerdesigner. Next to that, we've got these. This is the Pallet Racking Pack by Vanquish081, 2.42 megabytes download. They're 3 slots each, and we've got a small, a large, and an XL. The small will do 18 pallets or bags. The large will do 24 pallets or bags, and then the XL will do 18. So we're back to 18 again, but it does, what's interesting, I'm going to show you, it does tanks and bags, because obviously the racking is bigger to fit the tanks in and the bags. But yeah, we have a sort of curiosity across it. Colour choices are available. You can see we've got different colours on the racking. They don't come like that. You can switch them up if you want. If we go into build mode and silos, that's where you'll find them. So we start there, 950 for the small, 1,250 for the large, and then 1,500 for the XL. And it does say there, organise your tanks or bags on these sturdy shelves. The two before that, the 18 and the 24, says organise your pallets or bags. It doesn't mention tanks. So here's the thing. I bought some pallets and bags over to here. The pallets were standard in-game ones. If we go into our build mode, I'll show you the ones normal. So the big bag pallets, I bought some big bag pallets over, those, and some bags over. I also bought an IBC over because I was going to put that into the one on the end, but it took them all. But here's the weird thing. It only showed the bag. It didn't show the big bag pallets. So if I click onto our menu here, we've got big bag, solid fertilizer, pallet of cereal. Now the pallets, like production pallets, they're showing, no problem at all. As you can see, we've got cereal. The wheat pallet didn't show. The lime pallet didn't show. But that one, pallet liquid fertilizer 2,000 litres, that's an IBC. It took the IBC, like that one on the end there, but just didn't show it. So as far as I can tell, they all take everything. It's just what they show. So this one is showing bags and it's showing production pallets, but not showing the other pallets. Putting in, as you can see, this marked area here, once you hit that, taking them out, click on the menu. When you take them out, they will appear here and spawn to take them away. So yeah, it's a curious one. So this one, as you can see, we've got fabric, although I put the fabric all in as red. That was a multicoloured one, but it's put it all in as red. We've got some clothing in there, and we've got a big bag, but this one, as you can see bottom right, we have got quite a few other things in there as well. Pallet of seed, a pallet of solid fertilizer. It didn't show any of those, but it just showed those, which again, curiosity. And then the larger, also the XL, that one just said tanks and bags, but that took a pallet of cake. So they all seem to be taking everything. There we go. Pallet racking pack by Vanquish 081. Next, we've got these. This is the Kinsey, Mach Till and Degelman Pro Till pack by KMN Modding. 15.71 megabytes download. 9 slots for the 7.9 meter. 13 slots for the 12.2. These you'll find under disc arrows. We have an extra option on this, which I think is quite cool as well. You can have them as either the Kinsey or Degelman, which you'll see in a moment. So if we go into our menu, go to our tools and go to our disc arrows, out on the end, we've got the Mach Till 261 and the Mach Till 401. 72,500 slot count comes down to 1 for the 7.9 meter, 390 horsepower required. And then the 12.2 meter slot count comes down to 1, 620 horsepower required to pull that. Actually, yeah, I should have enough on what I've got, 108 grand to buy. So you can either have it as the Kinsey, or if we go down one brands, we can go for the Degelman. So you've got the option of either one. Wheel setup, we've got standard and standard 2 on both. Those are our two options. But then we've got disc harrow and mulcher, or just disc harrow. So if you just want it as a disc harrow, shallow cultivator, it will do the job. But disc harrow and mulcher, it will give you, if you go over, because you can use it as a mulcher, when you've harvested your crop, if you're not doing direct drilling and you want to do your mulching, you can use this. It will mulch and disc harrow at the same time. I'll show you that in just a moment. And then the larger one, again, standard setup or standard 2 for the wheels. We've got the Mach Till or the Degelman, and then same thing, disc harrow or mulcher, or just disc harrow on its own. So this one, I went for disc harrow and mulcher. So the field behind us, we'll watch it unfold first because it's nice, smooth and neat unfold animation and sounds. Looks fantastic, they both do, in their different configurations. So this behind me has been harvested and potentially needs mulching. If we go to the map and have a look, you'll see we're on this section here that needs to be sorted. So what should happen, he says, is as we go around, we are going to be cultivating, we are disking, shallow cultivating, drop that down. But what it should give us, if you've got it switched on, when we go back to this menu, you just about see over to the side there, Actually, just turn these ploughing off as well. There we go. So that bit there now that says mulched, it is mulching as well as doing its disc harrowing. So it is giving us our mulching. So rather than run a mulcher over it, then come back and go over it and disc it if you want to disc it as well, it will do both if you've got it in that configuration. But you don't have to have it in that configuration. If we come across to a field that's already been done, the texture will change. Because you're creating a seed bed, nice smoothed out seed bed. As you can see, much different texture to this there compared to that. But again, that's if you want to add in that immersion. It's the same with all of the things in game. Any of them will provide you with the cultivation you need. If you're not running a direct drill and you need to cultivate or plough, whatever you want to do. But it just depends if you want to add an extra stage in for a seed bed. Again, with rollers and stuff like that, you can add them in. Some of them will give you bonuses, not all of them do. This is the 12.2. Does require a fair bit of horsepower, this, to run though. And this one I've only got it in cultivating, I haven't got it as a mulcher. It runs really well. And if we go across the other side and go across the crop this time, it will cultivate, but it won't mulch. I hope. If it shows it's mulch now, then something's gone horribly wrong. There we go. So this we're in here, we've just driven across and round and down, so it's not showing mulched. There you go. That's the difference between them. Let's lift it up, fold it up. Very nice indeed. The Kinsey Mach Till and Degelman Pro Till pack by KMN Modding, which brings us to the last of the mods for today, and it's over here. And when I say it is these. This is the indoor camera auto rotation by Kenny456, 44.67 megabytes download. They're one slot each. Now that can be a big thing anyway, which you'll see. This works on articulated, well, so it works on articulated as part of the pack. The base game articulated wheel loaders, telehandlers and front loaders. So I've got front loaders here, these two. I've got a wheel loader and I've got a telehandler, the articulated telehandler, the Schaefer. I always say it wrong, I think. So this pack adds the base game versions in with this extra feature. Now, it may not bother you normally, and if it doesn't, this may not affect you at all, but it changes the way the camera works in cab. Now there are some instructions with this as well. If we go into our menu and go to here, it does say that option there under general settings, indoor camera suspension has to be turned off. Now I normally have that on because I think it adds a bit of extra realism when you're driving along, a little bit of camera suspension and a bit of bounce to it. But for this mod to work, that needs to be turned off. Indoor camera suspension, turn it off. That's your first step. And then if we go to our vehicles and we start off with our front loaders, which are here, so the two or three here, we've got our Z3E, we've got the 2630 and the Taurian, and then we move across and we've got these three here, which are the modded versions of those. Now, these are all one slot, so if slot counts a worry, if you're up at your slot count, which I'd be amazed if you are, but if you are, there's 7 slots and 11 slots. I've got one of those already. But these are all ones anyway. Prices are exactly the same. Options are exactly the same. The slot counts are just way down. So you might be better off using these if you want to. So the options on these then, and they're all the same on each one. If I click on it, it says we've got the indoor camera auto rotation, yes or no. So the thing with this as well, if you don't want it, you just switch it to no, and you've got a regular telehandler. But then you've got the camera sensitivity of this. You've got it's all set on 3. You can go down to 1 or up to 5. Now, there's not a huge amount of difference. I'm going to say that now. I really couldn't see a big difference. I've got 1 on 3 and I've got 1 on 5. I couldn't see a huge amount of difference. So that's under our front loaders. If we go to our wheel loaders, so we've got our Taurians. If we go across, there we go. So that's the indoor camera control options on these ones. So you can pick them as that. Again, 1 slot each for them. Other options are all exactly the same for these, but again, we can have the indoor camera rotation, yes or no, and then we can have the setting 1 through 5. And then if we come out of there and we go to our telehandlers, at the start we've got the 4670 articulated telehandler, and then we go to the other end and we've got there the 9660. So these are the two modded versions of those, and again, same options. We go down, all the other options are there. We've got the option for yes or no and the camera rotation and the sensitivity. So what does it actually do? Well, I'm going to show you the standard version first. So we're in cab in the standard version, and the camera is fixed pretty much on the windshield, pretty much where we are. So when we turn like that, the camera is moving with us pretty much in the cab. So the cab is where the camera is fixed. So when you're driving and you're turning, the front is moving, the camera will follow it in the end, but the camera is fixed to the cab, which is fine, but it can make you feel a little bit motion sick sometimes. You know, it depends who you are. It might not bother you in the slightest. So that's the standard version. If we jump out of that and we go into the one with the option enabled, and now I turn, you notice now the cab's moving away from me, the camera is fixed on the front. So when I turn, the camera is on the front, not the cab. So when you're driving now and you turn, it follows with the front of the vehicle. Now actually I find that a lot better. And it gives you quite an immersive feel as well, I think, because as you turn it sort of tilts the cab away as you're going. I don't think that feels anywhere near as bad as the standard version. I think that's a lot better, and it kind of enables you to see where you're going better as well, personally. So this one, I think I had this one set on, yeah, this one's set on 3. That's what it comes standard as. So that's the difference between the cameras. And if we jump into, I've grabbed this one I set on 5. So I'll start this one up and we'll drive forward. I'll turn it here. It might just be the speed that it turns, or is it the smooth? I don't know, I can't tell a huge difference. I have to say I do prefer that, but I'm really torn because I like having the indoor camera suspension on. So it'd be one or the other, you know, if you prefer this a smoother option or the indoor camera suspension. I don't tend to use, other than on my test map, articulated telehandlers or front loaders. Wheel loaders, I mean, that's kind of a given. So I think we've got the standard behind on the wheel loader. So you'll see again, we turn there, and we're actually turning away from the way the vehicle's turning. So because we're fixed on the cab, so when we turn, we're actually, it does make, it's a very strange feeling when you, unless you're turning with it. If I just drive along now and we turn, you're kind of turning away and then you catch up, which gives you a feeling of almost like motion blur. So that turns and then we catch up with it as we straighten up. So that's standard. It seems more pronounced in the bigger vehicle. It's not something I'd ever really thought about before. Then from in-cab with the camera rotation, we drive forward. It's automatically following the front. So as we straighten up, we're not getting that sort of sudden movement, that sudden motion. I like it. And then finally, just to finish off, which is finally, isn't it? We've got the articulated telehandler. I haven't gone for the standard one on this, I've just gone for the camera rotation. Yeah, that's cool. I'm liking it. Nothing wrong with getting a bit of extra rotation on the Tuesday. Tuesday rotation. That's the indoor camera auto rotation by Kenny456, and that's it for the mods for Tuesday, the 26th of March. I'll get onto the map tour as soon as I possibly can. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape, or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.